Hello again. This is Andy Nicol, the course tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course with the latest installment, latest lesson in the advanced course. This is on the subject of hypothetical meaning. It's a grammar area. This is, of course, lesson 16, level C1 or IELTS 7, if you're more familiar with the IELTS scale. So, what are we going to look at? Well, in this lesson, you will be looking at how to use wish plus past simple. Interestingly enough, we're using the past simple here not to talk about the past, in fact, but to talk about the present and or the future. You'll be looking at wish plus past perfect. In this case, it is used to talk about the past, and we use it to talk about regrets. We'll look at this a bit later. And the use of if only, which is essentially the same as wish, but a bit more emphatic. So, here we go. So, here you have a woman crossing her fingers. This is traditional in Western society, at least, to indicate that you're hoping or wishing that something happens. You cross your fingers. So, first of all, wish plus past simple to talk about the present or the future. Okay, so we use wish plus past simple to talk about things we would like to change, that we're not happy about, or we would like to be different in some way or another about the present or future. This may or may not be impossible or highly unlikely. For example, I wish I were younger is not possible. Although obviously most people when they get to my age do have less aches and pains and so on. So I wish I were younger. Okay, so here are some examples. I wish I had enough money to buy a new car. I wish I had. Obviously had here is the past of have, but we're not talking about the past. I wish I had enough money now or in the near future to buy a new car. I think most people would like to have a new car, less problems, paying to have it repaired, taking it to the mechanics and so on. Another example, she wishes she was or were taller. We'll look at the use of were in a minute. Again, this is something which is impossible, unless, stretches her or something like that. So she wishes she were taller. Obviously, she doesn't feel comfortable the way she is. So, as I said, with I, he, she, or it, you can use were instead of was. This is actually a throwback. This is the subjunctive in English. There's not much left of the subjunctive in English, and there's just this, and of course in the second conditional as well, if I were you instead of I was you. But nowadays we tend to use was a lot more, but were still exists. Okay, so with I, he, she, or it, you can use were instead of was in the example we've just looked at. And then remember, we're not talking about the past, although we're using the past form of the verbs here. Okay, she wishes she was taller now. I wish I had enough money now or in the near future. Okay, so let's move on and look at an example. So here is a situation, a nice picture of the Taj Mahal in Agra in India. And here's the sentence, I'd love to have enough money to travel to India. I'd love to have enough money to travel to India. So we need to form the sentence using wish. Remember, it's now or in the future. So it's wish plus past. So how would you construct the phrase? Pause the recording now if you need time to think. And yes, of course, it's I wish I had enough money to travel to India. I wish I had enough money to travel to India. Okay, let's look at another example, quick example. Okay, so here you have quite an exciting ride, roller coaster type ride at a theme park. Here in Spain, we have one called PortAventura, or in England, Alton Towers, or whatever. And here is the sentence: I'd love to be older so that I could go on that ride. I'd love to be older so that I could go on that ride. So again, we have to use the past simple here with wish. So older is an adjective, so we need the verb to be. Past of the verb to be. Of course, I wish I was, or I wish I were, as I mentioned before, older, so that I could go on that ride. I wish I were older so that I could go on that ride. Obviously, with he or she, it would be wishes. She wishes she were older. Okay, so that's to talk about the present or the future. Now we want to talk about the past, and we use here wish plus past perfect. Use wish plus past perfect, that's had plus participle, to talk about things which happened or didn't happen in the past but we'd like to have been different. In other words, regrets. Okay, things that we wish had been different in the past. For example, I wish I had studied harder at school, I'd have a better job. Okay, not in my case, I'm quite happy, but someone might say, I wish I'd studied harder at school, I'd have a better job. She wishes she'd been more careful with her money. Obviously, she spends her money very unwisely. She wishes she had been more careful with her money. And the last one, I'm going to disappear so you can see it. He wishes he hadn't gone to the meeting. So he went to the meeting, but it was really boring and it went on for hours. He wishes he hadn't gone. Obviously, he can't change it because it's in the past. So, an example here. Somebody reaching for some milk in a shelf in a supermarket, and here's the sentence: I should have gone to the supermarket last night, then we wouldn't be out of milk. If you're out of milk, it means you don't have any milk in the house. If you're out of something, you don't have any. And here is the sentence we have to complete. So, to the supermarket last night, then we wouldn't be out of milk. So we'll need to use, last night is obviously the past. It's a regret. It's something you can't change, but you feel you regret it. Okay, you obviously want milk now to make a cup of tea or whatever for your cereals in the morning for breakfast. So what would be the missing part here? Well, obviously it's past, so it's wish plus past perfect. I wish I'd gone. Obviously you can contract. I had becomes I'd. I wish I'd gone to the supermarket last night, then we wouldn't be out of milk. Okay, another example. It's a young daughter, her mum's shouting at her, she's not happy. I shouldn't have spoken to my mum like that, now she's really angry. Obviously she said something cheeky to her mother, or she spoke to her in a bad way. The mother's furious, very angry. So, to my mum like that, now she's really angry. Will be, I wish I hadn't spoken to my mum like that. Now she's really angry. I wish I hadn't spoken to my mum like that. Now she's really angry. Okay, so we've done wish plus past to talk about present or future. Wish plus past perfect to talk about the past, about regrets. Okay, we can also use if only as an alternative to wish. If only is an alternative to wish for both present and past. Okay, so it's used in the same way, but we use if only plus past simple or past perfect instead of wish to make more emphatic statements. It's essentially it's stronger than wish. It's like if only. It's something that you really wanted to change in the past but can't, or something that you want to change now very, very much. So, same example as with wish. If only I had enough money to buy a new car. If only you really desperately want to have enough money to buy a new car. If only I had enough money to buy a new car. If only we had been more careful with our money. Again, this is a regret, and it's a very strong regret. If only we'd been more careful with our money. Obviously, you're having all kinds of financial problems now. You don't have enough money to do the things that you want to do, etc. If only we'd been more careful with our money. So, let's look at a couple of examples. You have a woman here holding her head in her hands. She's obviously very stressed out. Oh my God. She should be more relaxed, then she'd have more fun. She should be more relaxed, then she'd have more fun. Okay, so she's obviously not relaxed, she's very stressed, etc. And here is the sentence. So, how can we complete this with if only? Well, we've got the verb to be here because relaxed is an adjective. So the answer is, if only she were more relaxed, she'd have more fun. If only she were more relaxed, she'd have more fun. Sorry. Okay. Another quick example. You have a couple here, and their car is not working on the road. Can you think what the phrasal verb is here for when a car stops working or a machine stops working? It's to break down, okay? And it's inseparable. So the car broke down. You can't break the car down, okay? So it's inseparable. The two parts of the phrasal verb are together. Anyway, that's an aside. To break down. And here's the sentence. We shouldn't have bought the car. It has caused us nothing but problems. It's a car, they bought a new car or a second-hand car perhaps, but they have regretted it ever since because the car is constantly breaking down, etc. So here's the sentence. Something or other, the car, it has caused us nothing but problems. Okay, so obviously you bought the car in the past, you're regretting something in the past, so we need to use past perfect with if only, and the answer is, if only we hadn't bought the car, it's caused us nothing but problems. If only we hadn't bought the car. Okay, so let's move on now. And we're going to have some sample sentences, and if you can choose the correct option in each one. Okay, so here's the first one. I wish I have or had a better mobile. This one's rubbish. Okay, I've been looking recently at all the publicity for the new iPhone X, which has got face recognition and so on. So there's a lot of controversy about this. Some people saying it's not as secure as using your thumb, etc., and so on. So there's actually queues of people for the first time in years. There've been queues of people lining up to get the new iPhone X. Anyway, I wish I have or had a better mobile. This one's rubbish. So we're talking about now or in the near future. And and we use the past of the verb. So I wish I had a better mobile. Although we're talking about present, we don't use, after wish, we use the past. So it's I wish I had a better mobile. This one's rubbish. It's not got enough applications or whatever. Okay, next one. So, if only Samantha went or had gone to the party, she would have had a great time. Well, did Samantha go to the party? No, she didn't. Would she have liked to have gone to the party? Yes, it would have been a good idea because she would have had a great time. So this is a regret on somebody else's behalf, in this case, Samantha. It's about the past. So with only, if only, sorry, and wish, it's the same. We use the past perfect. If only Samantha had gone to the party, she would have had a great time. Okay, what a shame she didn't go. All right, next one. Okay, so this is we, this time, a couple or something like that. They left their car outside. Okay, and unfortunately, it suddenly started to, the weather changed and there were hailstones. Hailstones are the little sort of bits of ice that fall instead of rain or snow. They're very hard and they can do serious damage to the chassis of your car. In fact, this happened to me. Where I live is at the top of a mountain, and the weather, it's got its own weather conditions here, and sometimes we do get hailstones, and one of my previous cars was badly damaged by it. Anyway, that aside, enough of my sob story. So we wish we hadn't left or had left our car outside. It was badly damaged by hailstones. So you did leave it, but you wish you hadn't left it. Wish we hadn't left our car outside. It was badly damaged by hailstones. Okay. Here's the next one. So she wishes she, is it were or had been younger? Okay, so are we talking about the present or are we talking about the past? Have a think for a minute. Well, of course, we're talking about the present. She's obviously feeling quite old and she wishes she were younger. We use past simple to talk about the present and or future. Okay, next one. So, nowadays, lots of problems in the world, lots of bigotry and discrimination and things like that. And someone's saying, if only people were or had been more tolerant, the world would be a better place. Well, would be a better place. We're talking about now. We're talking about the present. So we desire the world to be better now. Okay, so to talk about the present, we use past simple. If only people were more tolerant, the world would be a better place. Amen to that. That's an expression that means I absolutely agree. Okay, next one. I wish I was able or had been able to stay longer at the party, but I had to catch the last train. So you were at a party, having a great time, wonderful, chatting to people, socializing, having fun, but you had to leave to catch the last train. You feel very disappointed and sorry about that. So we're talking about the past. Because you had to catch the last train as in the past. So which is it? I wish I was able or had been able to stay longer at the party. Well, of course, if it's about the past, we use past perfect. I wish I had been able to stay longer at the party, but I had to catch the last train. I wish I'd been able to stay longer at the party, but I had to catch the last train. Okay, next one. So, you ask somebody for directions to get to a hotel, you're going on holiday or whatever, and unfortunately, you're now completely lost. Oh dear. Perhaps you don't have a GPS, sat nav. In English, we use the word sat nav as well. So, when did the person explain to you? Is it in the past or now? Have a think for a second. Well, of course, it's not in the past, sorry. So we need to use past perfect. If only we had paid more attention when he was explaining how to get to the hotel, we wouldn't be lost now. So when he was explaining, you're regretting the fact that you didn't listen carefully enough to the guy giving you some directions. Okay. Last one then on this. Do you wish you were or had been a bit taller? As a basketball player, it would make things a lot easier. Well, this is of course true. Most professional basketball players, or really good basketball players, are extremely tall so that they can slam dunk the ball into the basket. Here in Catalonia and in Spain, they have a very good basketball team who probably the second best team in the world after the United States. Very popular here. So, do you wish you were or had been a bit taller? As a basketball player, it would make things a lot easier. We're talking about now. Obviously, this is something which is impossible. And we can use where. Where instead had been would be in the past, where now. Also, obviously, sorry, where is the correct answer here? Okay, not had been. Okay, so that's all on hypothetical meaning, on use of wish plus past simple to talk about present and future, wish plus past perfect to talk about the past, and if only with both to make things more emphatic, to make it stronger. Next lesson then, lesson 17, we're going to turn again to vocabulary, and this time we're going to be looking at dependent prepositions. We'll be looking at this definition of preposition from the dictionary, and of course it will be with me again. We'll be looking at verbs plus dependent prepositions, for example, to rely on or depend on somebody. We're looking at nouns. The government introduced a ban on smoking in public places. And we'll be looking at adjectives as well, plus dependent prepositions. For example, he's very relaxed about his exam results. Okay, so I hope you found today's lesson useful. I hope it's been clear. Obviously, you can play it again if you need to go over anything. And remember, there is an accompanying little test type exercise for you to do to help you to check that you've understood everything correctly. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson on dependent prepositions. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.